All right, we are coming back. Brothers Market in Sigourney is our headline sponsor for just another morning show. We're coming to you from the Oski Dental Studios in beautiful downtown Sigourney on this 1st of June. And as mentioned, going into the break, we do welcome in our guest for today, and that is not the basketball player, Grant Hill. He is running for the Iowa House. I don't know what
representatives.
All right, is that District what?
District 88.
Okay. District 88.
House of Representatives.
Yes.
So every time we keep saying for the House.
The House.
The House of Representatives.
Whose house is he running for? He is running for District 88 here in southeast Iowa, what does that all include? What portion of the state does that include?
So that includes all of Keokuk County, parts of Jefferson, and Mahaska County.
Okay. All right. And you are a Keota native?
Yep. Well, native-ish.
All right.
I've lived there since I was 3 years old. I grew up in a Russian orphanage. So
okay, all right.
Spent 3 years in a Russian orphanage, and then I had 2 public school teachers out of Keota adopt me. And,
really? Okay.
I've always asked, how did you pick? Do you get a catalog and you just say, well, this kid looks all right? Like,
That's a good
you
question.
don't get to come and pick them first. They had to do, I'm sure, a bunch of paperwork. So how do you pick a kid? I don't know. They've never answered the question.
All right. Well, it's an interesting story.
So they came and picked me and my sister. Well, not my blood sister. We're both at the same orphanage. And
okay.
We've been in America since 2000, and we've had our fair share of problems. But now we're here and trying to make something out of our lives.
That's interesting. Interesting story there. All right. So, tell maybe a little bit more about yourself. So you currently live in Keota?
Yep. So I've lived in Keota pretty much on and off for the last 25 years. I've spent some time in Iowa City. I spent 3 years incarcerated. So, I never would have thought. I graduated from Keota High School in 2015.
Okay.
So I played Sigourney Keota football when I was in junior high.
Right. Okay.
And I did that for my 7th and I think 8th grade year as well. And then, because I was in Keota. But then to go to high school, you got to come to Sigourney. And I didn't want to do that every day. So I did cross country instead. I thought, I'll do cross country and get ready for basketball. And I was terrible at cross country. Absolutely awful. I was terrible.
Didn't like running too much?
Not a very good. I was always the guy at the end after everyone else has already been done and the people are waiting. They're clapping because they're glad you're done. They're
trying to figure out where the end is because they've already pulled up the pylons and all that stuff.
I like your answer better. They're clapping because you're finally done.
Right.
Your team is on the bus ready to leave. They're like, wait a minute. Where's Grant?
We're missing someone. So that was me. And
they turned the lights off.
I was terrible. But.
Come on, Grant, you can do it.
Right.
I get it. I hated running in high school.
That is the worst part is everyone claps. Not even at the end. They're clapping to, like, shut up, I'm going. They tell you to go faster. You do it.
Yeah.
This hurts.
Yeah. You come on out and try it.
Gosh. But
that's funny.
It was good for me.
All right. Can we dive into just a little bit into the incarceration? Because you said you brought it up here.
Yes.
So you were incarcerated for 3 years.
Yes.
That's interesting.
It is, yes. So in 2017, I was kind of weird. I worked for Dollar General, and I kind of took over a store within like 2. I was part time, and then I moved up to full time. And then an assistant manager, and then the person training me went on a honeymoon. And they told me to clear out the back room, so I threw everything away. Took some stuff home to my apartment, and then I was told to clear it out, so I threw all this expired stuff away. What's the big deal here? And then a couple weeks later, their corporate person came in, and I said, I threw it all away. I took some stuff home. Here's where this is. Here's where that is. And then I signed a little statement. I got arrested. I said, okay. So I got a mishandling company property charge. So that was a 5-year deferred, like a probation deal.
Okay.
Wow.
And then in 2021, I actually got an indecent exposure charge up in Iowa City. Got into a bad time in my life where me and my girlfriend were doing the adult film industry, and it was not something that I would recommend for most people. But at the time, my thought was, how can we make as much money as possible? And so, easy avenue, right? But it changes how your mind thinks, and it really, at the time, you don't notice it. You're like, I'm just making money doing what every guy does, but it really changes a lot in how you think. And so then I also got so that revoked my parole, my probation. So then I got a 5-year sentence and spent 3 years in Newton Correctional Facility. 2 years and 9 months. 6 months of that was in county jail, and then I said, let's just go. I'm I'm done fighting this. We're just gonna do it. And
Okay.
at that point, I grew up a Christian. I grew up going to church with my mom
Yeah,
and my sister
yeah.
every week, and I was the accompanist. So I played the piano and the organ for the church for
Okay.
a long time, probably 10 years. And then I went to college and didn't do that.
Sure.
I started
Yep.
building business, and so I don't need to go to college classes. I don't need to do this. And what can I do to make as much money as I can? And so that's
Yeah.
that's where that ended up. And
Sure.
but being in prison, and I talked about this Thursday. I was at it was called the Rescue Group. It's a Hispanic service. It's supposed to be bilingual. They didn't have a translator that week, and so I didn't know.
That's handy.
I don't know Spanish. I took 4 years of Spanish in high school. I don't know anything Spanish.
Tacos.
Yeah,
Right?
right. So they were playing some song. There's 3 guys on the guitar, and I just started crying and breaking down. And
Yeah.
So that's kind of when I re-gave my life to God and said,
Yeah.
maybe it's okay to start over. The week
You
before,
screw up and you keep on going.
Yeah. So the week before I turned myself in, my sister drugged me to the celebrate recovery meeting in Washington. And I was like, no, I don't need to go to that. Like, I don't have a problem. Like, at the time, I was a manager before I was a GM for 5 guys, and then I ran Marriott hotels. So, like, my professional life, I've been very successful. So, I'm like,
Right.
I don't need help. Like, do you know who I am? But then you realize, okay, well, so I went to this room, and you see other grown men and women, and they also have problems. And I always thought I couldn't ask for help because my parents were phenomenal. I had excellent parents. My adopted parents were great.
Yeah.
And we had everything we needed. We didn't struggle financially. So I'm like, you can't be broken if you have a good upbringing.
Right, you think.
And so then you go into this room with other grown people and like, well, they also had good upbringings and they're also broken. And so it's okay. So that's when I said, okay, maybe it is okay to ask for help. And it's been a great journey for the last 4 years. And so most people, when they get out of prison, they don't run for office. I know that. So I understand that. And most, the UK, the Daily Mail,
Yeah.
when I announced my campaign last July, I've been running for a year and a half now.
Okay.
The Daily Mail reached out and did a nice little article. Well, it wasn't nice.
Okay.
They did an article. They called me, did an interview, and put a little hit piece out, because I'm on the registry, and then I was in prison. And so they said, well, this guy's running for office. And of course I am, because I saw in prison all the broken things that were in there. And we see the cycle of people coming in and out of prison every 3 months. They get out. I was in there for 2 years, 9 months, and I saw the same people come in and out 3 times.
Really?
Because you're coming in for a registry violation, or you forgot to update your email address or something. Some people, sure, you need to be back in there. And there's people that keep offending, and they definitely deserve to be in prison.
Habitual.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right. But there's the Iowa law makes it so hard for people to try to rebuild their life when they come out, whether it's addiction for drugs or alcohol, or whether it's coming out of prison. It's really hard to rebuild your life.
Okay.
And so my job to represent the people that I talk to, I see my opponents talk to all these people that run these companies and the CEOs of this and that. And I talk to the people at the factories. So the people at Bender. I worked at Bender's when I first got out, right here in Sigourney. I love that. And then I worked at a place. I worked at Casey's, and I basically had to work 2 jobs all my life just to try to keep up. And because I wanted to. When I was GM at 5 Guys, I was still working a second job just because I wanted to.
Okay.
Same thing when I was at Marriott. I was still working part-time at Arby's because my best friend was the GM there. So I'm like, and I got free food, so
You can't beat that.
it was great. But I've always just wanted to work 2 jobs because the money hassle, right?
Sure.
I want to make as much money as I can. But the state taxes the crap out of you when you have a second job.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Right.
Trump started a great thing with that big, beautiful bill, the no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, but he missed one, the no tax on second jobs. And so my campaign, the People's Hill, has announced a first-in-the-nation proposal to eliminate state income tax on your second job. And so we've been trying to push this. We just want the people to pick it up. We've had great conversations with Eddie Andrews. He's running for governor, and he's been amazing. So trying to see how we can take this from not just a District 88 issue, where 36% of our households in this district are making less than $50,000 a year. How do we support those people? So those are the people that I go out and talk to. I talk to the people just getting off their first shift and going to work another job. So I don't do all these I don't do yard signs. I don't do all this extra media stuff. I just want to talk to people, and that's where this no tax on second jobs came up.
Okay.
I've also worked 2 jobs, and these people I talk to are working 2 jobs, not just to buy stupid luxury things. Like I buy a lot of toys, so I don't necessarily need to work a second job, but I do because I want to. But a lot of these people are doing it to put food on their table for the
Just
family.
to get by.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
So how do we support those people? We obviously need to support everybody, but these people that are trying to rebuild their lives, when they fail, they find out that it's easier to be in prison than it is to come back on the streets.
You hear that a lot.
A lot.
You do.
And it's a lot of the people on the registry are homeless. When they get older people, they've been in it for 10, 15 years, and so their family's dead or moved on, and so they don't have anything. So what do you do? And then if you're homeless, you get a registry violation because you don't have a place to register, I guess. And so they pick you up and take you back to jail. And then we're spending $40,000 a year to house them in jail. So we talk about how do we fund this? We fund this by making it easier for people to rebuild their lives. And then we're saving, what is it? It says $38,000. I think it's more than that per year to inmate someone, to house someone in prison. So we have that savings. And then that's a month of groceries. It's we cap it at $75,000 for individual for this no tax on second jobs, and then $150,000 for a joint. And so you're looking at like $400 that you're saving a year for that person. For the government, that's not a whole lot of money, but for a person making under $50,000 a year, $400, it's a month of groceries, it's the car payment, it's utility bills. That help. That's a big help. So it's the little things that we can do, and there's just a lot.
Yeah. No?
It's very complex.
You seem passionate about.
Yeah, it's
obvious about that.
Yeah.
You want to help those people more than the other ones that are already getting the help.
Right. There's a lot of people getting help, and when I first got out, I had to get on food stamps and get on Medicaid, and before that, I was making about 6 figures a year. So I've lived every side of my life. I've made good money, and I've been very successful, and oh my gosh, how am I going to pay for my car payment? And my food stamp's gonna get me through for the month. So I've seen a lot of different types of Iowa life. And right now, when I first got out, I had moved with my parents because I didn't have an apartment, and so that has been a help for me, not having to have a rent right now. But kind of seeing where this job takes me, it's really hard to get and keep a job once you're on the registry because someone finds out and they're like, oh, this guy is terrible. I don't want to work with this guy. Right. And so you have that stigma, which is fine. I work with a group called Iowans Unafraid. They're part of NARSOL. It's the National Association for Rational Sex Offense Laws. And so we're about how do we protect the community, because public safety is a huge thing, and I think some of these organizations want to just get rid of the registry, and I don't think that's the way to go in Iowa. Personally, I think we need to have public accountability. When you mess up, you need to be accountable, and people deserve to know, well, this is who I'm dealing with. 10, 15 years. If you don't have any problems, if you're good, you're not having any problems, your risk assessment is low, let's get you on a private registry. With the registry was originally intended for a police database for law enforcement only, and then it went public, and then it's made it really hard for people, even the families of people on the registry, to how do they live their life. The president of Iowans Unafraid gets harassed all the time, and her husband was the one she's not on the registry. So how do we protect everybody? So little things like that just common sense things. We can't just say, well, because I'm on the registry and because I was a felon, that we need to make things easy on us. We need to do things that make sense. And I was on the phone with Helena about a week ago, and we were talking about how do we raise revenue in Iowa, because we're cutting taxes. She said when they started, they were bringing in like $11.1 billion, and now they're down to like $8 billion. And so we're doing a really good job taking less money from the taxpayers, which is a good thing, right? With more money in your pockets, that's a good thing. Yep. But so then we have other people in the race that say, well, we need to increase funding for this and increase funding for that. Well, that's great, but where are you going to get that money from? Or where are you going to cut that from? So I said, well, why are we taxing and why are we punishing the people that are following the rules? Like you guys, why are you guys getting penalized for succeeding in Iowa? Yeah. So I said, why don't we just raise the fines on people that have been incarcerated, or people that are committing crimes? The people that are breaking the rules, maybe not fair, and maybe they're going to have a hard time getting out of debt, but those are the people that are breaking the rules. Those are the people that, to me, that makes sense to penalize in a way. And she said, well, it's hard because the state makes it, people say they can't pay off their loan or their debt that they owe to the state, but the state makes it incredibly easy to have a payment plan. You can pay like $5 a month and they won't harass you.
All right.
So it's not something like, oh, well, I owe $20,000 in fines and I'm never going to get out of this. Well, no, the state makes it pretty easy for you. They will take your state income tax refund, but
Right.
okay. So, like those are the things that I think, okay, if we're talking about how do we drive revenue in our state, we need to target ourselves on the people that are actually hurting our state. Right? And then just common sense. That's all I care about is how do we bring common sense back to Des Moines. I don't take any campaign contributions from anybody. $0.
Okay.
My other people like to take money, but then you just have not necessarily that these people are bought out, because I don't believe that Helena's bought out by anybody. I think she's a great person. I've had several conversations with her, but it gives the appearance sometimes where, well, who controls you? Because you've taken. I mean, my other opponent just got $7,000 from some person. Like, who is this person? Are they controlling you? Like, so if you just take zero money, you just take care of it yourself, then you know that you're just representing the people. Okay. I'm not representing Mahaska Health. I'm representing the people of District 88.
Yeah. Okay. If people want more information on what you stand for and what you're running on, where can they go?
They can go to thepeopleshill.com. I have more information on my website than anyone would ever want to read. Okay. So it's pretty boring for people that don't care. But I talk about my past. I talk about how I grew up and being in prison, and then I talk about the redemption. When I got out, I started a podcast called Legacy Unchained. That's why I love the studio. I have a little phone, and I talk into it, and I have an editing software. Like nothing. I love this. So I have my podcast. I started One Love Legacy. That's actually the shirt I'm wearing. We believe in how do we share God's love to everybody. So I have a lot of information about my past also on it's the number one, onelovelegacy.com, and then thepeopleshill.com is my campaign site. We got banned from Facebook. We got banned from Instagram. So we have Twitter, or X, I guess it's called.
Yeah.
So it was a weird timeline on how that happened. I started posting political articles about some other people in the race, and then another week later I got banned and said that you cannot have Facebook because you're on the registry. And that's technically correct, but
yeah.
It's just weird timing. So I do X. I'm not active on there, but my number's on my website. There's an email on there, and I usually do reach out to everyone within about 24 to 48 hours.
Okay, awesome. I'm glad. Yeah, we obviously had Aaron Hina on. We've had Helena Hayes on, and now we've had you on as well. The election is tomorrow,
I know.
So the countdown is on.
It's just we've done last thing I'll say, and then I'll let you guys go. We've had 179 years of having a state legislature. And for the last almost 2 centuries, we've sent these people with polished resumes and these perfect candidates that sit on all these boards, and I'm the board of this, the vice president of this, and these perfect people that you would think that, these people would be great, and nothing has changed. We still have people struggling. Why do we have 36% of our district making less than $50,000 a year? So what can we do to bring economic stability back to our district? So, I'm not a perfect candidate. I know that, and a lot of people will be very, very quick to say that. So that's why I say it myself. I know who I am, and I know what I've done. But we've done 180 years of having these perfect people, and nothing has really changed. It's not gotten terrible, but nothing has gotten better for these people struggling. So what can we do differently? So that's why I'm running. That's why I hope to start conversations and see what can happen.
Awesome.
Very cool.
Grant Hill hanging out with us this morning. Yes. Grant, we always end with some fun stuff. You want to run through some of our daily things with us quick?
Sure.
All right, let's do it. Today's this or that.
It's really tough.
It's bug season.
Ooh.
Would you prefer this bug soother, that absorbing junior? What do you want to smell like?
Definitely this. So we use bug soother. I have a bottle of that in my car every day. Yep.
Question of the day coming up at noon. Do you know how to swim?
I do know how to swim, actually. Yes, right. I love swimming.
You said that with way more confidence than I did earlier. I took swimming lessons, but the more I gave it some thought, I don't know if I could save my own life.
Well,
I think I know how to swim.
I love swimming, but I've definitely gained a lot of weight, so now I'm like, am I going to just sink?
Talk to us about it, man.
And then we do I don't know if you're into country music at all. All right, so on our radio station, Skunk River Radio, we always have a daily country cage match. We've got 90s country against 2K country. Black Hawk is the current champs with There You Have It. Going against 2K countries, Jason Michael Carroll, Alyssa Lies. Are you familiar with these songs?
Yes.
All right. Who do you like in this one?
Oh, I like Alyssa Lies. That's a great song. I know
It is.
Oh, yes,
It
absolutely.
is.
I have to go with Jason.
All right. You're going with the more of the tearjerker
I am.
feels
Yes.
song. Okay. Which is it is a great song dealing with abuse and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
All right. So that is our 3 things that we've got going on with our candidate for Iowa House District 88. The voting is going tomorrow.
Tomorrow, early voting's already been
Yeah.
going on, but yeah, we'll see how tomorrow goes. And I'm excited to
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
Good luck.
keep it up. Yeah,
Grant,
absolutely.
appreciate you reaching out, wanting to
you.
be on the show.
Thanks for getting me on so quickly. I
Yeah.
reached out yesterday.
Neil and I have talked about when we started this, we never thought that we would, the political candidates would seek us out and want to
Right.
be on the show. So kind of a neat thing. So
Absolutely.
appreciate you being on the show, being open and candid,
Yeah,
and
definitely. Thank you.
and talking about things so other people might not want to talk about.
Well,
so.
it's, last thing I'll say. Yeah, I mean, you open a can of worms real quick. We have people that, when you make a mistake in your life, it's okay. And it's okay to change your mind and to go back and forth, but just be honest about it. You don't have to lie and say, well, some guy on the air told us to vote this way. Well, that happened a month after you voted, sir. So, don't lie about it. Just say you switched parties. It's not a big deal. Just be honest about who you are. That's all.
All right. We will end with that. That is Grant Hill. The People's Hill is where you want to go for more info.
Sir.
Grant, appreciate you coming in. Best of... Whoa, where'd Neil? There you go. Neil, whoa, hello.
There he is.
Am I here?
The sensors... Whoa.
What?
Where are you?
What?
What is... Oh, now you're back on. All right. Anyway, Grant Hill, thank you. Neil's popping on and off the screen. It's getting
Is it still
weird.
happening?
No, you're
Okay, good.
steady right now.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Good
Thank
deal.
you.